Nothing says good morning quite like the rumble of a Mustang GT at 7 a.m., especially when it's not yours, and especially when your wife thinks you're already at the office. I'm Dave Mitchell, 43 years old, owner of a small electrical contracting business that somehow survived 3 recessions and a pandemic. My wife Jennifer hired what she calls a fitness coach 3 weeks ago. 22 years old, drives a cherry red Mustang that probably cost more than I made in my first year of business, and shows up every morning at 7 sharp for what Jennifer describes as intensive personal training sessions. The thing is, I've been working from home more lately. Business is slow, and I figured I'd catch up on paperwork, maybe spend some quality time with the family. Jennifer doesn't know about my schedule change. I haven't mentioned it. This particular Tuesday morning, I'm in my garage office, nursing my second cup of coffee and pretending to care about electrical permit applications when I hear the Mustang pull into our driveway. The engine cuts off. Car door slams. Front door opens. "Morning, Jen," comes a voice that sounds like it belongs in a boy band. "Tyler, you're right on time," Jennifer responds, and there's something in her tone I haven't heard in years, something breathless and eager. I set down my coffee and listen. Their voices move toward the back of the house, toward our bedroom. Now, I'm not an idiot. I've noticed the changes. Jennifer suddenly caring about her appearance again after 20 years of marriage. New workout clothes that cost more than my monthly truck payment. The way she hums in the shower. The way she's been distant with me but energetic about everything else. But hearing it is different than suspecting it. The bedroom door closes. I hear Jennifer's laugh, muffled but unmistakable. Then silence. Then the rhythmic creaking of our bed frame, the same one we bought when we moved into this house 15 years ago. The same one that's been silent for months. I could storm back there. I could kick down the door and catch them in the act. I could scream and throw punches and make a scene that would give the neighbors something to talk about for years. Instead, I grab my phone and walk outside. Tyler's Mustang sits in my driveway like it belongs there. I take pictures from 3 different angles, making sure to capture the license plate. I check the time, 7:12 a.m. I make a note in my phone. Then I get in my truck and drive to the office of Patricia Wells, the best divorce attorney in town. "Mr. Mitchell," Patricia says when I walk into her office 2 hours later. She's a sharp woman in her 50s, the kind who probably eats opposing counsel for breakfast. "What brings you here today?" "My wife is having an affair with her fitness coach," I say. "I need to know my options." Patricia doesn't blink. She's probably heard this story 100 times. "Tell me about your situation. Assets, children, how long you've been married." 20 years next month. 2 kids. Michael just turned 18, graduates next week. Emma's 16. I own a small business, electrical contracting. We have a house worth about $400,000, some savings, retirement accounts. Prenuptial agreement? Yes. I pull out my phone and show her the photos of Tyler's car. And I have evidence. Patricia leans forward. "What kind of evidence?" "Pictures, timestamps, documentation of his visits. I can get more." "Good. Washington is a no-fault divorce state, but adultery can still affect asset division and custody. Tell me about the prenup." I hand her a copy I pulled from our safe deposit box this morning. She reads it carefully, and I watch her eyebrows rise slightly. "This is very thorough," she says. "Did your wife have legal representation when she signed this?" "She said she didn't need it. Said she trusted me." The irony tastes bitter in my mouth. "Mr. Mitchell, this prenup protects virtually all of your premarital assets and your business interests. If we can prove adultery, we can also argue for a favorable division of marital assets and custody arrangement." What do I need to do? Document everything. Times, dates, photographs, any communications you can legally obtain. Don't confront her yet. Don't let her know you're aware of the situation. Can you do that? I think about the sound of our bed creaking, about Jennifer's breathless voice greeting Tyler, about 20 years of marriage reduced to a fitness appointment. I can do that, I say. Over the next 3 weeks, I become a man obsessed with details. I work from home every day, always making sure Jennifer thinks I've left for the office. I photograph Tyler's car every morning. I document his arrival time, always 7 a.m. sharp, and his departure time, which varies between 8:30 and 9:15. I find Jennifer's second phone hidden in her workout bag. A cheap prepaid device she probably thinks is clever. The text messages would make a sailor blush. Pictures that confirm what I already knew. Plans for meetings at cheap motels when the house isn't available. Tyler, it turns out, isn't just Jennifer's coach. He's got at least 3 other clients receiving similar intensive training. The kids running a regular operation. I screenshot everything before putting the phone back exactly where I found it. Jennifer's behavior becomes increasingly obvious once you know what to look for. She showers immediately after Tyler leaves. She started buying expensive lingerie, not for me, obviously. She hums constantly, smiles at her phone, and treats me with the kind of distant politeness you'd show a roommate you barely tolerate. "You seem happy lately," I tell her one evening over dinner. "The personal training is really paying off," she says, not meeting my eyes. "Tyler says I'm making excellent progress." Tyler says a lot of things, I bet. She looks up sharply, but I'm already focused on my plate, cutting my steak with careful precision. Michael notices the tension. He's a smart kid, always has been. Takes after his old man in that regard. "Dad, is everything okay?" he asks me one evening when Jennifer's at her book club, or wherever she actually goes on Tuesday nights now. "Everything's fine, son, just some business stress. Mom's been acting weird." "Weird how?" "I don't know. Different. Like she's got a secret or something." Emma, on the other hand, seems oblivious. She's 16 and absorbed in her own world of social media and high school drama, which is probably for the best. The graduation ceremony is next Thursday. I have everything ready: the divorce papers, the evidence summary, the custody proposal. Patricia has assured me everything is legally sound and properly prepared. "You're sure about the timing?" she asks during our final meeting. "I'm sure. She wants to play happy family for the graduation? Fine. But the performance ends when the curtain comes down." "And you're prepared for her reaction?" I think about Tyler's car in my driveway every morning. I think about Jennifer's secret phone and her motel receipts and her breathless voice saying his name. I'm prepared for whatever happens. Thursday arrives gray and drizzling, typical Pacific Northwest spring weather. We drive to the high school together, Jennifer, Emma, and me. Jennifer's parents are meeting us there, along with my folks. Big family celebration for Michael's big day. Jennifer chatters nervously during the drive. "I can't believe Michael's graduating already. Seems like yesterday he was starting kindergarten." Tyler says. She catches herself, but not quickly enough. "Tyler says what?" I ask. "Nothing. Just that time flies." I'm sure Tyler has lots of wisdom about the passage of time, being 22 and all. The look she gives me could freeze water, but I'm already pulling into the school parking lot. The ceremony is everything you'd expect from a high school graduation. Long, boring speeches about the future and following dreams. Michael walks across the stage, shakes the principal's hand, accepts his diploma. We all clap and cheer and take pictures. Afterward, we gather outside for family photos. Jennifer's parents, Harold and Margaret, are there in their expensive clothes and disapproving expressions. They've never much liked me, blue-collar guy who married their princess daughter. My parents, Frank and Rose, are more down-to-earth. Dad's wearing his good suit, the one he saves for weddings and funerals. "Let's get a picture of the whole family," Jennifer suggests, and we all cluster together around Michael. The photographer snaps several shots. Michael looks proud and happy. Emma's actually smiling instead of staring at her phone. Jennifer's beaming like this is the happiest day of her life. "Beautiful family," the photographer says. "We certainly are," Jennifer agrees, squeezing my arm. That's when I hand her the manila envelope. "What's this?" she asks, still smiling for the lingering family members and other graduates nearby. "Open it." She does. right there surrounded by our families and half the graduating class. I watch her face change as she processes what she's seeing. The smile fades first, replaced by confusion, then understanding, then something that might be fear. "Dave," she whispers, "what is this?" Divorce papers, evidence summary, custody proposal, everything's explained in detail. Jennifer's mother steps closer. "What's going on?" "Ask your daughter about Tyler," I say. "Ask her about the fitness sessions." Jennifer's face goes white. She looks around at our families, at the other graduates and parents nearby, at Michael, who's starting to realize something's wrong. "We need to talk about this privately," she says. "We've been talking privately for 3 weeks, every morning at 7 a.m. You, Tyler, and my bedroom." The words hit like a physical blow. Jennifer actually staggers backward. Harold reaches out to steady her. "What are you talking about?" Margaret demands. "Your daughter's been having an affair with her personal trainer. 22 years old, drives a red Mustang, very flexible schedule. It's all documented in the envelope." Michael steps forward. "Dad, what's happening?" "Your mother hired a fitness coach. Turns out, he was coaching more than just exercise." Jennifer finds her voice. "You can't do this here, not at Michael's graduation. I can do this anywhere I want. You made the choice to have an affair. I'm making the choice to end our marriage." "Where's Tyler?" Emma asks suddenly. "Mom said he was coming to the graduation." The question hangs in the air. Jennifer pulls out her phone, probably trying to call him. She tries twice, then 3 times. No answer. "Looks like your coach doesn't return calls," I observe. Frank, my father, steps forward. He's a man of few words, but when he speaks, people listen. "Son," he says, "you sure about this?" "I'm sure, Dad." He nods once. "Then we'll stand by you." Margaret, Jennifer's mother, is less supportive. "This is ridiculous. Jennifer would never—" "Check her phone," I suggest. "The prepaid one in her workout bag, unless she's already gotten rid of it." Jennifer's face answers that question before her mouth can. Michael looks at his mother, then at me, then back at his mother. "Mom, is this true?" Jennifer opens her mouth, closes it, opens it again. No words come out. "I'm 18, Michael says quietly. "I can choose where I want to live." "Michael, honey," Jennifer starts. "I'm staying with Dad." The words hit Jennifer like a physical blow. She actually stumbles, and Harold has to catch her arm again. "We should go," I say to my family. "Let Jennifer figure out her next move." As we walk toward the parking lot, I hear Jennifer calling Tyler's number again. Still no answer. By tomorrow, she'll realize he's not answering because he's already moved on to his next client, his next conquest, his next opportunity. The prenup she forgot about will protect everything I built before our marriage. The evidence I gathered will influence the division of everything we built together. The son she just lost will testify about her behavior if necessary. 20 years of marriage, and it ends in a high school parking lot on a rainy Thursday afternoon. Jennifer standing there with divorce papers in her hands, calling a phone number that will never be answered again, surrounded by family members who are just beginning to understand what she's done. I get in my truck and drive home. Tomorrow, the real work begins. The house feels different when you know it's temporary. Every room, every piece of furniture, every family photo on the wall, all of it becomes evidence in a negotiation rather than the foundation of a life. Jennifer doesn't come home Thursday night or Friday. Michael tells me she's staying with her parents, which makes sense. Harold and Margaret have a big house in the expensive part of town, the kind of place where scandals can be contained behind high hedges and closed doors. Emma splits her time between our house and her grandparents', clearly torn between loyalty to her mother and the growing realization that her mother screwed up in a spectacular fashion. "Dad," she asks me Friday evening, "did Mom really cheat on you?" We're sitting in the living room, sharing a pizza and watching some mindless comedy on Netflix. Normal father-daughter time, except nothing's normal anymore. Yes, I tell her. She did. With her trainer? Yes. Emma processes this information while picking pepperoni off her pizza slice. She's always been thoughtful, more introspective than her brother. Are you going to get divorced? Yes. Will I have to choose sides? You'll never have to choose sides, sweetheart. You're my daughter no matter what happens between your mother and me. She nods, but I can see the worry in her eyes. 16 is too young to watch your family implode, but here we are. Saturday morning, I'm in my garage office when I hear a familiar sound, the rumble of Tyler's Mustang. I look out the window and watch him park in front of our house. He sits in the car for a few minutes, probably trying to figure out why Jennifer isn't answering his calls. Finally, he gets out and walks to the front door, rings the bell. I answer it. "Oh," Tyler says, clearly not expecting to see me. "Is Jen home?" He's exactly what you'd expect from a 22-year-old fitness influencer. Perfect hair, perfect teeth, perfect abs visible through his tight t-shirt. The kind of guy who probably takes more selfies than my teenage daughter. "Jennifer doesn't live here anymore," I tell him. "What do you mean?" "I mean she moved out. We're getting divorced. Didn't she tell you?" Tyler's perfect face scrunches up in confusion. "Divorced? Why?" I have to admire the kid's acting ability. Either he's genuinely confused or he's better at lying than I gave him credit for. "Adultery," I say. "Apparently she was sleeping with her fitness coach. Can you imagine?" The color drains from Tyler's face. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Sure you do. Red Mustang, license plate 7G4H2R, arrives every morning at 7 a.m., leaves between 8:30 and 9:15. Very consistent schedule for fitness coaching." "I need to talk to Jen." "Good luck with that. She's been trying to reach you for 2 days. Tyler pulls out his phone and tries calling Jennifer right there on my doorstep. I can hear it ringing through his speaker. No answer. "Huh," I say. "Maybe she's busy. You know how it is with fitness schedules." "Where is she?" "Staying with her parents. Harold and Margaret Thornton, up on Maple Hill. Big white house with the circular driveway. I'm sure they'd love to meet you." Tyler's face goes even paler. He knows exactly who Harold Thornton is. Everybody in town does. Harold owns 3 car dealerships and sits on the city council. Not the kind of man you want to meet under these circumstances. "This is crazy," Tyler says. "We were just doing fitness training." "Is that what you call it? Interesting terminology." Tyler backs toward his car. "I don't have to listen to this." "No, you don't. But you might want to listen to this. If I see you anywhere near my family again, if I see you driving down my street, if I even hear your name mentioned in connection with my wife or my children, I will make your life very complicated. Do we understand each other?" "You can't threaten me." "I'm not threatening you. I'm explaining consequences. There's a difference." Tyler gets in his Mustang and drives away fast enough to leave rubber on the pavement. I watch him go, then take a picture of the tire marks with my phone. You never know what might be useful later. Sunday afternoon, Jennifer finally comes home. She looks terrible. Red eyes, no makeup, wearing clothes that look like she slept in them. Emma's with her, carrying an overnight bag. "We need to talk," Jennifer says. "We really don't. Everything that needs to be said is in the legal documents." "Dave, please. This is crazy. We can work this out." "Can we? How exactly do we work out you sleeping with a 22-year-old in our bed?" Emma makes a disgusted noise and disappears upstairs. Jennifer and I are left standing in our living room, 20 years of marriage reduced to this awkward confrontation. "It wasn't supposed to happen," Jennifer says. "It just happened." "Things don't just happen, Jen. People make choices. You chose to hire Tyler. You chose to bring him into our bedroom. You chose to lie to me for weeks. You don't understand. I felt old, invisible. Tyler made me feel alive again." "Tyler made you feel like an easy target. Do you think you're the only married woman he's coaching? Do you think you're special? Jennifer's face crumples. Don't be cruel. Cruel? I documented your affair for 3 weeks before saying a word. I could have kicked down the bedroom door and caught you in the act. I could have called Harold and Margaret and told them what their daughter was doing. I could have posted Tyler's license plate and schedule on social media and let the whole neighborhood know what was happening in our house every morning. Instead, I handled it through proper legal channels. That's not cruel. That's civilized. The prenup you didn't want to read. The prenup you said you didn't need a lawyer for because you trusted me. That prenup. Jennifer sits down hard on the couch, like her legs won't support her anymore. What happens now? She asks. Now you find somewhere else to live. Now you figure out how to rebuild your life. Now you explain to our children why you destroyed our family for a few weeks of excitement with a kid who's already moved on to his next client. Tyler loves me. The words hang in the air between us, pathetic and desperate. Tyler doesn't even answer your calls. Jennifer pulls out her phone and tries calling him again, straight to voicemail. He's probably just busy, she says, but her voice lacks conviction. He's probably coaching his next client. Or maybe he's moved on to a different town entirely. Smart kid like that, he probably knows when it's time to disappear. Jennifer tries calling twice more. Same result. I need to get some clothes, she says finally. Take whatever you want. The house is going on the market anyway. She looks around the living room like she's seeing it for the first time. The family photos, the furniture we picked out together, the life we built over 2 decades. I never meant for this to happen, she says. But it did happen. And now we all have to live with the consequences. Jennifer goes upstairs to pack. I can hear her moving around in our bedroom, former bedroom, gathering her things. When she comes back down with 2 suitcases, Emma's with her. I'm staying with Mom tonight, Emma says, at Grandma and Grandpa's. Okay, sweetheart. Call me if you need anything. Emma hugs me, and I can feel her trembling slightly. This is harder on the kids than anyone, and that makes me angrier at Jennifer than anything else she's done. After they leave, Michael comes downstairs. He's been hiding in his room, probably trying to process everything that's happened. Dad, are you okay? I'm fine, son. How are you holding up? It's weird. Like everything I thought I knew about our family was wrong. Not everything. Your mother and I both love you and Emma. That never changes, no matter what happens between us. But she cheated on you. Yes, she did. Why? It's the question I've been asking myself for weeks. Why throw away 20 years for a few weeks with Tyler? Why risk everything for someone who obviously didn't care about her the way she thought he did? I don't know, Michael. People make bad choices sometimes. Your mother made a very bad choice. Are you going to be okay? Financially, I mean? Smart kid. Already thinking about practical matters. We'll be fine. The business is doing well, and the prenup protects most of our assets. You don't need to worry about money. What about college? Your college fund is safe. That was always separate from everything else. Michael nods, relieved. He's been accepted to the state university, planning to study engineering. Good choice. Practical, stable, recession-proof. Dad, I'm glad you didn't just let it slide. What do you mean? Some of my friends' parents, when stuff like this happens, they just pretend everything's fine, try to keep the family together no matter what. But that's not really keeping the family together, is it? That's just pretending. No, son, that's just pretending. Monday morning, I'm back to my regular routine. Office by 7, home by 6, normal life except for the part where my wife is living with her parents and my family is falling apart. Patricia calls around 10. How did the weekend go? She asks. About as expected. Jennifer's staying with her parents. Tyler seems to have disappeared. Emma's confused. Michael's angry, and I'm ready to get this over with. Good. I've filed all the paperwork. Jennifer will need to respond within 30 days. Has she retained counsel? Not that I know of. She will. Harold Thornton isn't going to let his daughter go through this without representation. What's our timeline? If she contests anything, we could be looking at 6 months to a year. If she's reasonable, we could settle everything in 60 to 90 days. Define reasonable. Accepts the prenup terms, doesn't fight the custody arrangement, agrees to a fair division of marital assets. What are the chances she'll be reasonable? Honestly? Low. People don't make rational decisions when their world is falling apart. And from what you've told me about her parents, they're not going to encourage her to just accept this quietly. Patricia's right, of course. Harold and Margaret have never liked me, and they're not going to miss this opportunity to make my life difficult. They probably see this as their chance to get Jennifer away from her blue-collar husband and back into their world of country clubs and charity galas. Tuesday morning, I'm working in my garage office when I see a black BMW pull into my driveway. Harold gets out, straightens his expensive suit, and walks to my front door like he owns the place. I let him ring the bell twice before I answer. Harold, what brings you by? We need to talk. Do we? About Jennifer, about this divorce nonsense. I step aside and let him into my living room. Harold looks around with the same expression he might use to inspect a used car, calculating value, noting flaws, finding reasons to negotiate the price down. Nice place, he says, but his tone suggests otherwise. It's home. Was home. About that. Jennifer made a mistake. A foolish mistake with a young man who took advantage of her. But that doesn't mean your marriage has to end. Doesn't it? People work through these things, Dave. Counseling, forgiveness, starting over. Jennifer realizes what she's lost. She wants to come home. Does she? Or do you want her to come home? Harold's jaw tightens. He's not used to being challenged, especially not by people he considers beneath him socially. I want what's best for my daughter, and what's best for her is staying married to the father of her children, maintaining the family unit, working through this difficult time together. What's best for Jennifer is accepting responsibility for her choices and moving forward with her life. What's best for our children is seeing that actions have consequences, that marriage means something, that their father won't be a doormat. You're being vindictive. I'm being honest. There's a difference. Harold pulls out his phone and shows me a picture. It's Tyler, looking scared and disheveled, standing next to his Mustang in what looks like a parking garage. We found your wife's fitness instructor, Harold says. Had a very interesting conversation with him. Did you? He explained the situation, how Jennifer pursued him, how she initiated everything, how he tried to maintain professional boundaries, but she made it impossible. I laugh, which clearly isn't the reaction Harold expected. Tyler told you Jennifer seduced him? That's right. And you believed him? Why wouldn't we? Because Tyler's a 22-year-old who makes his living sleeping with bored housewives. Because he's got at least 3 other clients receiving the same special training Jennifer was getting. Because he's a professional, Harold, and Jennifer was just another customer. Harold's face darkens. You're lying. Am I? Check his social media. Check his client list. Ask around the country club. I bet half the wives there know Tyler personally. That's impossible. Is it? You really think your daughter was special? You think a 22-year-old fitness model fell in love with a 40-year-old married woman out of genuine emotion? The words hit Harold like physical blows. He's starting to realize that his daughter wasn't the victim in this situation. She was just another mark. Even if that's true, he says, it doesn't change anything. Jennifer's still your wife. She's still the mother of your children. She's still the woman who brought another man into our bedroom every morning for weeks. She's still the woman who lied to my face every single day. She's still the woman who destroyed our family for a few hours of excitement with someone who's already moved on to his next conquest. Harold stands up abruptly. This conversation is over. Yes, it is. And so is my marriage. After Harold leaves, I call Patricia and tell her about the visit. They're going to fight this, she says. Harold Thornton doesn't like to lose, and he's going to see this divorce as a personal defeat. Let him fight. We have the evidence, we have the prenup, and we have the truth. Truth doesn't always win in family court, Dave. Money and influence can complicate things. Then we'll deal with complications as they come. But even as I say the words, I know Patricia's right. Harold has resources I don't have, connections I can't match, and a daughter whose reputation he'll protect at any cost. This is about to get much more complicated. Wednesday morning brings the first real surprise. Tyler's Mustang is back in my driveway. I watch from my garage office window as he sits in the car for 10 minutes, clearly working up the courage to approach the house. Finally, he gets out and walks to my front door. This time, I don't make him wait. Tyler, back for more fitness coaching? He looks terrible. Unshaven, wrinkled clothes, dark circles under his eyes. The perfect Instagram physique is still there, but the confidence is gone. I need to talk to you, he says. About what? About Jennifer. About this whole situation. What about it? Tyler glances around nervously, like he's expecting Harold to jump out from behind a bush. Her father found me. Him and some guy in a suit. They cornered me at my apartment complex, started asking questions about Jennifer and me. What kind of questions? About our relationship. About who started what. About whether I was running some kind of scam. Are you? Tyler's face flushes red. It's not a scam. I'm a legitimate fitness coach. Who sleeps with his clients? It's not like that. What's it like? Tyler shifts uncomfortably. Look, sometimes things happen between coaches and clients. It's natural. People spend time together, they connect, feelings develop. Feelings. Right. How many clients are you currently developing feelings for? That's not your business. It became my business when you developed feelings for my wife in my bedroom. So I'll ask again. How many? Tyler doesn't answer, which is answer enough. Here's what I think happened, I continue. You saw an opportunity. Married woman, obviously unhappy, obviously vulnerable, obviously willing to pay for attention. You provided a service, she provided compensation and access, business transaction. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? Then explain why you haven't answered Jennifer's calls since Thursday. Explain why you disappeared the moment things got complicated. Explain why you're here talking to me instead of comforting the woman you supposedly have feelings for. Tyler's silence stretches long enough to become uncomfortable. Her father threatened me, he says finally. Threatened you how? Said he'd ruin my business. Said he'd make sure I never worked in this town again. Said he had connections that could make my life very difficult. Sounds like Harold. What did you tell him? The truth. That Jennifer came on to me, that she made it clear what she wanted, that I tried to keep things professional but she wouldn't let it go. And he believed that? I don't know. Maybe. He seemed more interested in protecting Jennifer's reputation than finding out what really happened. Smart man. What do you want from me? Tyler looks genuinely confused by the question. I want this to stop. I want everyone to leave me alone so I can get back to my life. Your life of coaching lonely housewives? My life of running a legitimate fitness business. Then here's my advice. Leave town. Find a new market. Start over somewhere else where angry husbands and protective fathers don't know your name or your license plate number. I can't just leave. I have clients, commitments, a lease on my apartment. You had those things. Past tense. You think any of your married clients are going to keep seeing you after word gets around about what happened with Jennifer? You think their husbands are going to be okay with Tyler the fitness coach coming around for private sessions? The reality of his situation is starting to sink in. I can see it in his face. This isn't fair, he says. Fair? You want to talk about fair? Fair would have been keeping your hands off my wife. Fair would have been maintaining professional boundaries. Fair would have been finding clients who weren't married mothers of two. Jennifer's an adult. She made her own choices. Yes, she did. And now she's living with the consequences. Just like you are. Tyler starts backing toward his car again. I'm not the villain here. Neither am I, but somebody has to be, and it's not going to be me. After Tyler leaves, I call Patricia and fill her in on the conversation. Interesting, she says. Sounds like Harold's trying to control the narrative, paint Jennifer as the victim. Will that work? It might, if Tyler's willing to testify that Jennifer initiated everything. Especially if Harold can make it look like Tyler was running some kind of predatory operation targeting vulnerable married women. But we have evidence. The texts, the photos, the timeline. Evidence shows they had an affair. It doesn't necessarily show who started it or why. Does it matter? For the divorce? Probably not. For public opinion and Jennifer's reputation? Absolutely. Thursday afternoon, Emma comes home from school looking upset. Dad, people are talking. About what? About you and Mom. About the divorce. Someone posted something on social media about Mom having an affair, and now everyone's sharing it and commenting on it. I pull out my phone and check Facebook. Sure enough, there's a post in one of the local community groups. Anyone else notice that red Mustang at the Mitchell house every morning? Guess we know why they're getting divorced now. The post has 37 comments and counting. Most of them are gossip and speculation, but a few people claim to have inside information. One woman says she saw Jennifer and Tyler at a motel across town. Another says Tyler was bragging about his older clients at a bar downtown. This is getting out of hand, I tell Patricia when I call her. Social media always does. The question is whether this helps us or hurts us. How could it help us? Public opinion can influence settlement negotiations. If Jennifer's reputation is damaged enough, she might be more willing to accept our terms quietly rather than drag things out in court where everything becomes public record. And if it hurts us? Harold could argue that you're orchestrating a campaign to humiliate his daughter, could make you look vindictive, could affect custody decisions. I didn't post anything on social media. Can you prove that? The question hangs in the air. In today's world, proving a negative is almost impossible. Friday evening, Michael comes home from a party looking troubled. Dad, we need to talk. What's wrong? I heard something tonight, about Tyler, about what he's been doing. What did you hear? That he's been sleeping with married women all over town, that it's like his business model or something, that Mom wasn't the first, and she probably wasn't the last. Where did you hear this? Jake's older brother works at the gym where Tyler used to train. He says Tyler got kicked out for hitting on members' wives. Says Tyler's been working the personal training angle for months, targeting women in expensive neighborhoods. How does that make you feel? Michael thinks about it for a long moment. Angry. At Tyler for being a predator. At Mom for being stupid enough to fall for it. At you for not protecting her somehow. I can't protect someone from their own choices, son. I know, but it still makes me angry. That's normal. You're allowed to be angry. Are you angry? Yes, but I'm also disappointed and sad and tired of thinking about it. Do you still love her? It's the question I've been avoiding, even in my own thoughts. I love the woman I married 20 years ago. I don't know who your mother is anymore. Saturday morning, I'm awakened by pounding on my front door. It's barely 7 a.m., and whoever's out there is making enough noise to wake the neighbors. I look out the window and see Harold's BMW in my driveway, along with a car I don't recognize. Harold's standing on my porch with two other men, one in a suit, one in casual clothes, but with the unmistakable bearing of private security. I open the door wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt, making no effort to look presentable. Harold, kind of early for a social call. We need to talk. Now. About what? About the harassment campaign you're running against my daughter. Harassment campaign? Harold pulls out his phone and shows me screenshots of social media posts, forum comments, and what looks like a private Facebook group dedicated to discussing Jennifer's affair. This, he says, all of this. People are calling Jennifer a whore, a homewrecker, a pathetic middle-aged woman who threw her life away for a boy toy. Someone posted her photo with Tyler's car in the background. Someone else shared screenshots of text messages. I didn't post any of that. Maybe not directly, but you started it. You created the situation that led to this public humiliation. I created the situation? I'm not the one who hired Tyler. I'm not the one who brought him into our bedroom. I'm not the one who lied about it for weeks. The man in the suit steps forward. Mr. Mitchell, I'm Robert Kane, attorney for the Thornton family. We have reason to believe you've been orchestrating a deliberate campaign to damage Mrs. Mitchell's reputation in advance of your divorce proceedings. Do you? What reason is that? The timing of the social media posts, the specific information being shared, the coordinated nature of the harassment. Coordinated by whom? That's what we intend to find out. I look at the three men standing on my porch, Harold with his righteous indignation, Kane with his legal threats, and the security guy who's probably there to intimidate me. Here's what I think happened, I say. Word got around about Jennifer's affair because affairs are hard to keep secret. People saw Tyler's car here every morning. People talk, especially in a town this size. Jennifer's reputation is damaged because her actions damaged it, not because I'm running some kind of campaign against her. The text message screenshots, Kane says. How did those become public? I have no idea. Maybe Tyler shared them. Maybe Jennifer shared them with someone who shared them with someone else. Maybe Jennifer's phone got hacked. Maybe Tyler's got other clients who know about his methods and decided to share information. You expect us to believe you had nothing to do with this? I expect you to prove I did, if you're going to make accusations. Kane and Harold exchange glances. The security guy just stands there looking menacing, which is probably his job. Mr. Mitchell, Kane says, we're prepared to make you an offer. What kind of offer? Drop the divorce proceedings, accept counseling, give your marriage another chance. In exchange, we'll make sure the social media harassment stops and help rebuild Jennifer's reputation. How exactly would you make the harassment stop? We have our methods. I bet you do. What happens if I decline your generous offer? Then things get more complicated, more expensive, more public. More public than they already are? Much more public. Court proceedings, depositions, testimony about your marriage, your finances, your parenting, your business practices. Everything becomes fair game. My business practices. Electrical contractors need licenses, permits, insurance. Lots of ways for things to go wrong if someone's not careful. The threat is subtle, but unmistakable. Harold's not just threatening to fight the divorce. He's threatening to use his connections to destroy my livelihood. Gentlemen, I say, I think this conversation is over. Think carefully about our offer, Kane says. It won't remain open indefinitely. After they leave, I call Patricia immediately. They just threatened your business? She asks. Implied threats. Nothing direct enough to prove. Harold Thornton has a lot of influence in this town. He could make things difficult for you professionally. Let him try. My work speaks for itself, and my clients know me. Dave, you need to understand what you're up against. Harold's not just protecting his daughter, he's protecting his own reputation. Having Jennifer publicly humiliated reflects badly on the entire family. So what are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we need to be very careful about how we proceed. Document everything, assume all your communications are being monitored, and be prepared for this to get much worse before it gets better. After I hang up, I sit in my garage office and think about Harold's offer. Drop the divorce, accept counseling, pretend the affair never happened, go back to being married to a woman who betrayed me with a kid young enough to be our son. The smart play might be to take the deal. Avoid the legal fees, avoid the public spectacle, avoid Harold's threats to my business. Keep the family together, at least on paper. But every time I consider it, I hear the sound of our bed creaking at 7 a.m. I see Jennifer's face when she opened that envelope at Michael's graduation. I think about Tyler's car in my driveway and Jennifer's secret phone and 20 years of marriage reduced to a fitness appointment. No, some things can't be forgiven, can't be forgotten, can't be fixed with counseling and good intentions. Harold wants a war. He can have one. But he's not going to like how it ends. Sunday morning, I wake up to find my truck's tires slashed. All 4 of them, cut clean through the sidewalls with what looks like a utility knife. Professional job, not random vandalism, but a deliberate message. I call the police first, then Patricia, then my insurance company. The responding officer is a young guy named Rodriguez who takes pictures and fills out a report, but we both know nothing will come of it. Any idea who might have done this? He asks. Could be anyone. I'm going through a messy divorce. Sorry to hear that. You got security cameras? No, but I'm thinking about installing some. After Rodriguez leaves, I call a towing company and arrange to have the truck taken to a tire shop. While I'm waiting for the tow truck, Harold calls. Dave, I heard about your vehicle. Terrible thing. Vandalism. Is it? Absolutely. This town used to be safe. Now you can't even park in your own driveway without worrying about criminals. Criminals. Right. I wanted to call and reiterate our offer from yesterday. Sometimes these situations escalate in ways nobody wants. Better to resolve things amicably before someone gets hurt. Someone already got hurt, Harold. Your daughter made sure of that. I'm talking about physical harm, Dave. Property damage, personal safety, that sort of thing. Are you threatening me? I'm expressing concern for your welfare. Big difference. I stand in my driveway looking at my disabled truck and realize that Harold's declared open war. The slashed tires are just the opening shot. Patricia arrives while I'm waiting for the tow truck. This is escalating quickly, she says, examining the damage. Harold called right after I reported it, wanted to express his concern for my welfare. Did you record the call? No, but I will from now on. Good. We need to document everything. Harold's making a mistake if he thinks intimidation will work, but he could cause a lot of damage before he realizes that. What's our next move? We accelerate everything. File for emergency custody, request expedited proceedings, get this in front of a judge before Harold can orchestrate any more harassment. The tow truck arrives and loads my disabled truck. Patricia follows me to the tire shop where I discover that replacing all 4 tires is going to cost me $800. Insurance will cover it, the shop manager tells me, but you'll have to pay your deductible. How long? Couple hours. We've got the tires in stock. While we wait, Patricia and I sit in her car and plan our strategy. Harold's biggest advantage is his reputation and connections, she says. He's counting on being able to pressure you into backing down before this gets to court. What if we take it public ourselves? Get ahead of his narrative. Dangerous. Could backfire, make you look vindictive. More vindictive than slashing my tires? You can't prove Harold was involved in that. I don't have to prove it. I just have to make people think about it. Patricia considers this. What did you have in mind? Harold wants to control the story? Let's give him a story to control. Monday morning, I post a simple message on my business Facebook page. Mitchell Electrical will be temporarily reducing services due to ongoing personal matters. We apologize for any inconvenience and expect to return to full operations soon. Thank you for your patience and continued support. Within an hour, the post has dozens of comments from clients and friends expressing concern and support. Several people ask if there's anything they can do to help. A few mention hearing rumors about my divorce and offer sympathy. By noon, the post has been shared 40 times and has over 100 comments. The local rumor mill is working overtime, and Harold's name is starting to come up in connection with my personal matters. Harold calls at 2 p.m. What the hell do you think you're doing? running my business, or trying to, despite the harassment. Harassment? What harassment? Slash tires, intimidation visits, threats to my livelihood. That kind of harassment. You can't prove any connection between those incidents and my family. I don't have to prove anything, Harold. I just have to tell my story and let people draw their own conclusions. If you think you can drag my name through the mud, I haven't mentioned your name. Interesting that you think I'm talking about you, though. Score 1 for the blue-collar guy. Tuesday brings another surprise. Tyler's back. This time he doesn't come to my house. Instead, he shows up at my office looking even worse than he did last week. Unshaven, wrinkled clothes, and the smell of alcohol on his breath at 10 in the morning. We need to talk, he says. Do we? About Jennifer. About Harold. About this whole mess. What about it? Harold's trying to destroy me. He got my lease canceled, got my gym membership revoked, got my business license suspended. He's telling people I'm a predator, a scam artist, a criminal. Are you? I'm a fitness coach who made some bad decisions. Bad decisions like sleeping with married clients. Tyler slumps in the chair across from my desk. It started innocently. Jennifer hired me for legitimate training, but she was lonely, unhappy, looking for attention. One thing led to another. One thing led to another. How romantic. You don't understand. She pursued me. She made it clear what she wanted. I tried to keep things professional, but she wouldn't take no for an answer. So you're the victim here? I'm not saying I'm innocent, but I'm not the monster Harold's making me out to be. What do you want from me? I want you to call off Harold, tell him to leave me alone. Why would I do that? Because if he destroys me, I can't testify about what really happened between Jennifer and me. And what really happened? Tyler looks around my office nervously, like he's afraid someone might be listening. Jennifer was obsessed. She called me constantly, texted me at all hours, showed up at my apartment unannounced. She said she was going to leave you for me, that we were going to be together. Were you going to be together? Hell no. She's 20 years older than me, she's got kids, she's married. I was just providing a service. A service. Look, I'm not proud of it, but lonely housewives pay well, and I needed the money. Jennifer wasn't my first client like that, and she probably wouldn't have been my last. Probably? Harold made sure there won't be a last. He's destroyed my reputation, my business, my life, all to protect his precious daughter's image. What exactly do you want me to do about it? Talk to him. Make a deal. I'll testify that Jennifer initiated everything, that she was the aggressor, that I was just a victim of her midlife crisis. In exchange, he leaves me alone and lets me rebuild my life somewhere else. You want to throw Jennifer under the bus to save yourself? I want to tell the truth. The truth being that you're a professional gigolo who targets vulnerable women. Tyler's face flushes red. I'm a fitness coach. Who sleeps with clients for money? It's not like that. What's it like? Tyler doesn't answer. He just sits there looking miserable and defeated. Here's what I think, I tell him. I think you're a predator who got in over your head. I think Jennifer was an easy mark who fell for your routine. I think Harold's doing exactly what any father would do to protect his daughter from someone like you. So you won't help me? I wouldn't help you if you were on fire. Tyler stands up abruptly. You're making a mistake. Harold's not going to stop with me. He's going to come after you next, and when he does, you're going to wish you had allies instead of enemies. Is that a threat? It's a prediction. After Tyler leaves, I call Patricia and tell her about the conversation. Interesting, she says. Tyler's obviously desperate. The question is whether his desperation makes him more useful or more dangerous. How could he be useful? If he's willing to testify that Jennifer initiated the affair, it could help with asset division and custody. Makes her look like the aggressor instead of the victim. And how could he be dangerous? Desperate people do unpredictable things. If Harold's really destroying Tyler's life, Tyler might decide he has nothing left to lose. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we keep an eye on Tyler, and maybe invest in those security cameras you mentioned. Wednesday evening, Emma comes home from her mother's looking upset. Dad, Mom wants to talk to you. About what? About getting back together. She thinks if you two can work things out, all this craziness will stop. What do you think? I think it's too late for that. Why? Emma sits down on the couch next to me. She looks older than 16, like the stress of the situation has aged her. Because you can't trust her anymore. Because she lied to all of us. Because every time I look at her, I think about what she did. That might change with time. Will it change for you? I don't know. Dad, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you think Mom really loved Tyler? Or was she just, I don't know, having some kind of breakdown? It's a perceptive question from a 16-year-old. I think your mother was unhappy and made some very bad choices. Whether she loved Tyler or just loved the attention he gave her, I can't say. Tyler's kind of pathetic, isn't he? What makes you say that? I saw him at the grocery store yesterday. He looked terrible, like he hadn't slept in days, and he was buying cheap wine and frozen dinners, not exactly the successful fitness influencer he pretends to be online. People aren't always what they seem to be on social media. Mom fell for his act, though. She really thought he cared about her. Your mother wanted to believe someone found her attractive and exciting. Tyler was happy to take advantage of that. Are you going to be okay? After the divorce, I mean? I'm going to be fine. We're all going to be fine. What if Harold tries to hurt your business? Then I'll deal with that when it happens. Dad? Yeah? I'm proud of you for not just letting this slide. Some of my friends' parents stay together no matter what, even when one of them cheats. They think it's better for the kids, but it's not, is it? What do you think? I think kids can tell when their parents hate each other. I think pretending everything's fine when it's not just teaches kids that lying is okay. You're a smart kid, Emma. I get it from my dad. Thursday morning brings the biggest surprise yet. Jennifer shows up at my office alone. She looks terrible, thin, pale, dark circles under her eyes. The confident, glowing woman who was humming in the shower 6 weeks ago is gone, replaced by someone who looks broken and desperate. We need to talk, she says. I'm listening. This has gone too far. The social media posts, the harassment, Tyler being destroyed, my father threatening people. This isn't what I wanted. What did you want? I don't know. I thought I wanted excitement, adventure, to feel young again. I didn't think about the consequences. Consequences like destroying our marriage? I know I screwed up. I know I hurt you and the kids. But can't we find a way to fix this? How do you fix 20 years of trust? Jennifer starts crying. Not the manipulative tears of someone trying to get their way, but the genuine sobs of someone who's lost everything. I don't know, she says, but I want to try. Why? Because Tyler's gone? Because your father's making things worse? Because you're finally facing the reality of what you've done? Because I love you. Because I love our family. Because I made a terrible mistake and I want to make it right. Do you love me? Or do you love the security I represent? Both. I know that's not romantic, but it's honest. It's more honest than you've been in months. Jennifer wipes her eyes and looks around my office. I remember when you started this business. You were so excited, so proud. You worked 18-hour days to make it successful. I still do. I know. And I took that for granted. I took you for granted. Yes, you did. If I could take it back. But you can't. That's the thing about choices, Jen. Once you make them, you have to live with them. So there's no chance? No possibility of forgiveness? I look at my wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, sitting across from my desk, crying and begging for another chance. Part of me wants to say yes, wants to try to rebuild what we had, wants to believe that 20 years of marriage is worth saving. But then I remember the sound of our bed creaking at 7 a.m. I remember Tyler's car in our driveway. I remember the secret phone and the lies and the way she looked at him like he was everything she'd been missing. I forgive you, I tell her, but I can't forget, and I can't trust you again. Dave? The divorce is going forward, Jennifer. You need to accept that and figure out how to move on with your life. My father says he can make this very expensive for you. Your father's already started. Slashed tires, intimidation visits, threats to my business. Is that the kind of man you want fighting your battles? He's trying to protect me. He's trying to protect the family reputation. There's a difference. Jennifer stands up slowly, like an old woman instead of someone who's not even 40 yet. I'm sorry, she says, for everything. I know you are, but sorry doesn't fix this. After she leaves, I sit in my office and think about the conversation. Jennifer seemed genuinely remorseful, genuinely broken by what's happened. But remorse doesn't change the facts. It doesn't rebuild trust. It doesn't erase the betrayal. And it doesn't stop Harold from trying to destroy me. Friday afternoon, I get a call from my biggest client, Thompson Construction. Dave, we need to talk, says Bill Thompson, the company owner. Can you come by the office? Sure, what's this about? Better to discuss it in person. I drive to Thompson's office with a sinking feeling in my stomach. Bill's been my best client for 5 years, accounting for about 30% of my business. If Harold's gotten to him... Bill's waiting in his office, looking uncomfortable. Dave, sit down. This is awkward. What's going on, Bill? I got a call yesterday from someone claiming to represent the city licensing board. They had questions about your work on the Riverside project. What kind of questions? Permit compliance, inspection records, that sort of thing. They seem to think there might have been some irregularities. There weren't any irregularities. Everything was done by the book. I know that. You've never cut corners on any job you've done for me. But this person seemed very interested in finding problems. Did they give you a name? Robert Kane said he was conducting a routine audit of electrical contractors. Kane, Harold's lawyer, the same man who threatened me on my front porch. Bill, I need to tell you something. I'm going through a divorce, and my wife's family has a lot of influence in this town. They're trying to pressure me into dropping the proceedings. By going after your business? Apparently. Bill leans back in his chair. That's a hell of a thing, using business licenses as weapons in a family dispute. Are you going to have to drop me as a contractor? Hell no. You're the best electrician I've worked with, and I don't appreciate people trying to manipulate me. But I wanted you to know what's happening so you can protect yourself. I appreciate that, Bill. Dave, if you need anything, references, character witnesses, whatever, you let me know. This kind of harassment pisses me off. I leave Thompson's office feeling better than I have in days. Harold may have connections, but I have something more valuable, a reputation built on 20 years of honest work. But Harold's not done. Not by a long shot. That evening, I'm installing security cameras around my house when Michael comes outside to help. Dad, you really think someone's going to try to break in? I think it's better to be prepared. This is because of Mom's affair, isn't it? Because of Harold? Partly. I looked him up online. Harold Thornton. He's on the city council, the chamber of commerce, the hospital board. Guy's got his fingers in everything. Money and influence tend to go together. Are you worried? I'm cautious. There's a difference. We finish installing the cameras just as the sun sets. 4 cameras covering all approaches to the house, motion-activated recording, remote monitoring through my phone. If anyone comes onto my property uninvited, I'll have evidence. Dad, Michael says as we're putting away the tools, what happens if Harold wins? If he destroys your business and forces you to take Mom back? He won't win. But what if he does? I look at my son, 18 years old, and trying to understand how the adult world works, how power and money and influence can be used as weapons. Then we'll deal with whatever happens. But Harold's making the same mistake your mother made. What mistake is that? He's underestimating me. That night, I lie in bed thinking about the war Harold's declared. He has money, connections, influence. He can make my professional life difficult, can drag the divorce proceedings out for years, can turn public opinion against me. But he doesn't understand something important. I have nothing left to lose. Jennifer destroyed our marriage. Harold's threatening my business. Tyler's a pathetic casualty of his own greed. They want to see a villain? I'll show them a villain. Starting tomorrow. Saturday morning, I wake up to find a gift on my doorstep. A manila envelope with no return address, just my name written in block letters. Inside are photographs. Harold meeting with Tyler at a downtown coffee shop. Harold handing Tyler what looks like an envelope of cash. Harold and Robert Kane entering a building that houses several city offices. Kane leaving the same building with a briefcase. The photos are professionally taken, high quality, clearly showing faces and locations. Someone's been watching Harold as carefully as Harold's been watching me. There's no note, no explanation, no indication of who sent them. But the message is clear. Harold's not the only one who can play dirty. I call Patricia immediately. "Where did you get these?" she asks after I describe the photos. "They were on my doorstep this morning." "Any idea who might have sent them?" "No, but I have a theory." I'm listening. Harold's made a lot of enemies over the years. City council politics, business deals, zoning disputes. Someone else has an axe to grind, and my situation gave them an opportunity. "What do you want to do with the photos?" "Nothing yet, but it's nice to know Harold's not as careful as he thinks he is." "Dave, be very careful here. If you use those photos, you could be accused of orchestrating a harassment campaign against Harold. Or I could be seen as defending myself against his harassment campaign against me. It's a fine line. Harold crossed that line when he slashed my tires. Sunday afternoon, I get an unexpected visitor, Tyler's landlord. "You Dave Mitchell?" the man asks. He's in his 60s, wearing work clothes and a suspicious expression. "Yes." "Name's Frank Kowalski. I own the apartment complex where Tyler Brennan lives. Or lived, anyway." "What can I do for you?" "Tyler skipped out on his lease yesterday, left owing 2 months' rent and a security deposit. Place is trashed." "I'm sorry to hear that, but I don't see what it has to do with me." "Tyler left some stuff behind, including a box of papers with your wife's name on them." Kowalski hands me a cardboard box. Inside are printed emails, text message screenshots, and what looks like a journal or diary. "Why are you giving this to me?" "Because Tyler owes me money, and Harold Thornton was the one who got his lease canceled. Figure you might be interested in what Tyler was keeping." I flip through the papers quickly. It's all documentation of Tyler's relationship with Jennifer, and with several other women. Names, dates, photos, detailed accounts of his fitness coaching business. "This is quite a collection," I tell Kowalski. "Kid was keeping records of everything. Probably figured he might need insurance someday." Insurance? Against his clients' husbands, or their fathers. After Kowalski leaves, I spend 2 hours going through Tyler's documentation. It's a goldmine of information about his operation, including detailed profiles of at least 8 married women he's been coaching. Jennifer's file is the thickest. Tyler documented every meeting, every text exchange, every payment. He even kept receipts from the motels they visited. But the most interesting discovery is Tyler's journal entries about Harold's attempts to destroy him. Tyler wrote down every conversation, every threat, every action Harold took against him. It reads like a manual for witness intimidation and business harassment. I call Patricia and tell her about the box. "This could be very useful," she says. Tyler documented Harold's harassment campaign in detail. It also documents Jennifer's affair in detail, which we already knew about. The question is whether this helps us more than it hurts us. How could it hurt us? Jennifer could argue that Tyler was blackmailing her, that she was a victim of his extortion scheme. could make her look sympathetic instead of guilty. What about Harold's harassment of Tyler? That's more promising. If we can show a pattern of intimidation and abuse of power, it could undermine Harold's credibility and influence. Monday morning, I decide to take the offensive. I create a new Facebook account under a fake name and join several local community groups. Then I start posting Tyler's documentation. Not all of it, just carefully selected pieces that show Harold's abuse of power without revealing too many details about Jennifer's affair. Anyone else concerned about city council members using their influence to harass private citizens? I post in one group, along with a photo of Harold and Kane entering the city offices. Interesting how some people's business licenses get audited right after they cross the wrong family, I post in another group, with a screenshot of Kane's business card. Guess having money and connections means you can destroy people's livelihoods without consequences, I post in a third group, along with a photo of Harold meeting with Tyler. The posts get immediate attention. Within hours, they're being shared and commented on across multiple groups. People start asking questions about Harold's business practices, his use of city resources, his connections to various licensing boards. By noon, the story has taken on a life of its own. Someone digs up Harold's voting record on city council matters. Someone else posts about a zoning dispute Harold was involved in 5 years ago. A third person shares a story about Harold using his influence to get a competitor's business permit delayed. Harold calls at 2 p.m. and he's furious. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" "I have no idea what you're talking about." The social media posts, the photos, the harassment campaign against my family. I'm not harassing anyone. I'm just sharing information that was shared with me. You're trying to destroy my reputation. I'm defending myself against your attacks on my business and my family. This stops now, or I'll have you arrested for stalking and harassment. Good luck proving I did anything illegal. Unlike some people, I know how to stay within the law. Score another one for the blue-collar guy. Tuesday brings the biggest surprise yet. Tyler returns, but this time, he's not alone. He shows up at my office with a woman I don't recognize. Mid-40s, expensively dressed, obviously angry. "Mr. Mitchell," the woman says, "I'm Carol Peterson. I believe you know Tyler. We've met. Tyler's been telling me about your wife's affair and the harassment he suffered from Harold Thornton." "Has he?" "I'm one of Tyler's other clients. Or was, until Harold destroyed his business." I look at Tyler, who's standing behind Carol looking embarrassed. "Let me guess," I say. "You were getting more than fitness coaching." Carol's face flushes red. "That's not your concern." It became my concern when Tyler brought his business model into my bedroom. Tyler's a victim here, just like your wife. Harold Thornton has destroyed both their lives to protect his own reputation. Is that what Tyler told you? It's what happened. I pull out Tyler's journal and flip to a page marked with Carol's name. According to Tyler's own records, he's been sleeping with you for 6 months. He documented every encounter, every payment, every detail of your relationship. You're married to a prominent businessman, you have teenage children, and you've been paying Tyler $300 per session for what he calls intensive personal training. Carol's face goes white. That's not true. It's in Tyler's handwriting, with dates, times, and locations. Tyler steps forward. "I can explain." "Shut up!" Carol snaps at him. Then to me. "What do you want?" "I want Tyler to testify truthfully about his relationship with my wife. I want him to admit that he's a professional gigolo who targets vulnerable married women. And I want him to document Harold's harassment campaign in court." "And if he does that?" "Then his records stay private. Your name never comes up. Your husband never finds out about your intensive personal training sessions." Carol looks at Tyler with undisguised disgust. "You kept records of everything?" "It was insurance," Tyler says weakly. "Insurance? You documented my private life like I was some kind of criminal?" "I documented all my client relationships." Client relationships? Is that what you call it? I watched the confrontation with interest. Carol's realizing that she wasn't Tyler's only victim, she was just another mark in his operation. Mrs. Peterson, I say, Tyler's going to testify in my divorce proceedings whether he wants to or not. The question is whether his testimony helps you or hurts you. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting Tyler tell the truth about his business model, his targeting of married women, and Harold's attempts to destroy him. In exchange, certain details about certain clients remain confidential. Carol turns to Tyler. You're going to do exactly what he says. Do you understand me? Tyler nods miserably. And if I find out you kept records about anyone else, if I discover you've been blackmailing other women, I will personally make sure your life becomes a living hell. After they leave, I call Patricia and tell her about the meeting. Tyler's agreed to testify. He doesn't have much choice. Carol Peterson's got him terrified, and I've got documentation of his entire operation. Who's Carol Peterson? Wife of Richard Peterson, owns Peterson Automotive Group. Big money, big influence, big problems if her husband finds out she's been paying for Tyler's services. So now you've got leverage over Tyler and potentially over Harold. It's starting to look that way. Dave, be careful. You're playing a dangerous game with powerful people. They started the game. I'm just playing to win. Wednesday afternoon, Jennifer calls. Dave, we need to talk. In person. About what? About ending this. About finding a way to resolve everything without destroying more lives. I'm listening. Can you meet me at the coffee shop on Main Street? Neutral territory. I arrive at the coffee shop to find Jennifer waiting at a corner table. She looks better than she did last week, still thin and tired, but more composed. Thank you for coming, she says. What did you want to talk about? About Tyler, about my father, about the mess this whole situation has become. Okay. Tyler's gone. Left town yesterday, according to his landlord. My father's being investigated by the city ethics board for misuse of his position. And I'm living with my parents at 40 years old, trying to figure out how to rebuild my life. I'm sorry things turned out this way. Are you? Really? I'm sorry you made the choices that led to this. I'm not sorry about protecting myself and our children. Jennifer nods slowly. I deserve that. What do you want, Jen? I want to end this without any more damage. I want to accept your divorce terms, work out a custody arrangement that's fair to everyone, and try to move forward. What about Harold? My father went too far. He was trying to protect me, but he made everything worse. I've asked him to stop interfering. And he agreed? He doesn't have much choice. The ethics investigation is serious, and his reputation is damaged. He needs to focus on his own problems. What changed your mind? Jennifer looks out the window at the street where we've both lived for 20 years. I realized that fighting you wasn't going to bring Tyler back. It wasn't going to undo what I did. It was just causing more pain for everyone, especially the kids. And I realized that you were right. Some things can't be forgiven or forgotten. Our marriage is over, and trying to force it back together would just hurt everyone more. We sit in silence for a few minutes, 20 years of marriage reduced to this awkward conversation in a coffee shop. I have one request, Jennifer says finally. What's that? When this is over, when the divorce is final, can we try to be civil? For the kids' sake? I've never wanted to be anything else. I know. I'm the one who made that impossible. Yes, you did. Jennifer reaches across the table and touches my hand briefly. I'm sorry, Dave, for everything. I know you are. Will you ever be able to forgive me? I already have, but forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean trusting again. Jennifer nods and stands up. I'll have my lawyer contact Patricia tomorrow. We'll work out the details. Jen? Yes? For what it's worth, I hope you find whatever it was you were looking for. I was looking for something I already had. I just didn't realize it until it was too late. Thursday morning, Patricia calls with news. Jennifer's lawyer contacted me. She's accepting all our terms. No contest divorce, custody arrangement as proposed, asset division according to the prenup. Just like that? Just like that. We could have everything finalized within 60 days. What about Harold? Harold's got bigger problems. The ethics investigation found evidence of misuse of city resources, abuse of power, and intimidation of private citizens. He's facing censure by the city council and possible criminal charges. And Tyler? Tyler's in the wind. Left town, closed his social media accounts, disappeared completely. Probably smart, considering how many angry husbands and fathers are looking for him. So it's over? The legal part is. The rest is up to you. Friday evening, I'm sitting in my garage office when Michael comes out to talk. Dad, I heard Mom's not fighting the divorce anymore. That's right. How do you feel about that? Relieved. This whole thing has been exhausting. Are you going to be okay? Living alone, I mean? I've been living alone for months, son. Your mother moved out emotionally long before she moved out physically. What happens now? Now we figure out our new normal. You go to college, Emma splits time between her mother and me, and I rebuild my life. Do you think you'll get married again? I have no idea. That's not something I'm thinking about right now. Dad? Yeah? I'm proud of how you handled this. You could have just rolled over and let Harold and Mom walk all over you, but you stood up for yourself. Sometimes that's all you can do. Tyler was a predator, wasn't he? It wasn't really about Mom being unhappy or having a midlife crisis. Tyler saw an opportunity and took advantage of it. Your mother made herself vulnerable, and he exploited that vulnerability. There are probably other women like Mom, other families Tyler destroyed. Probably. At least he's gone now. At least he's gone. Saturday morning, I wake up in my empty house and make coffee in my quiet kitchen. No sound of Tyler's Mustang in the driveway. No lies about fitness appointments. No pretending everything's normal when it's not. Just silence and the possibility of starting over. The divorce papers will be final in 60 days. Jennifer will rebuild her life, probably in another town where her reputation isn't destroyed. Emma will adjust to having divorced parents, like half her friends already do. Michael will go to college and learn that the adult world is more complicated than he thought. And I'll run my business, raise my children, and try to figure out who I am when I'm not married to someone who lies to me every day. Harold's political career is over. Tyler's con game is finished. Jennifer's fantasy of excitement and adventure has collapsed into reality. They called me the villain in this story. Maybe they were right. But sometimes the villain wins, and sometimes that's exactly what needs to happen.